been thoroughly enjoying the sounds of my next guest, The Far Out, and in just 1 week, they are dropping their debut album. Band members Ryan Fremont-Smith and Drew Phillips, the drum and bass connection, joining me right now. Guys, welcome to the show. It is great to have you both here.
Max, thank you, man. It's
All
awesome to
right.
be
Absolutely. Thanks for
here.
having us.
All right, all right. Now let us talk about the album. Greetings from the Far out on July 11th. So really, just like a week or so away. What can we expect with this music?
So I think this music is it's like a movie to me. I don't know. I see it as a movie, and it's because like in a movie you have a bunch of different characters and they go through this crazy adventure, and at the end you left feeling great or bad or whatever it may be. But this album to me is like that because like every song has like a different character in it, and like the sounds take you to places you weren't expecting to go. And I just think I think that's a very fun thing that we've achieved with this album. But they all fit together. They all fit together in a way that's also, I feel like, unexpected. Like you're hearing all these different genres and sounds, instruments, and ways things are tied together. And it somehow works. It somehow works. I don't know. I think it's a very fun, it's a very fun listen, you know? So
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think we've released 2 music videos that are against this album. And speaking of the far out cinematic universe, I do feel like every story, is told in it. You definitely see that within the music videos. Like every song is its
yeah,
own character, in this universe. So I feel like the album is really a culmination of that
totally.
whole, every story.
Okay, first off, the Far Out cinematic universe. We gotta make this happen, guys. This is like
Album
this.
2, album
It
2.
It's the thing.
it just like flows. The Far Out cinematic universe. It's perfect. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the stories in the album? What what's the other story being told here?
So with lyrics, I'd say it's it's a little bit of love. Like you have think about there's some love involved, there's adventure involved, and then there's like work involved. And I think everybody can relate to that at some point in their life, whether chasing a relationship and then dealing with a work-life balance and looking for that adventure. And I think that's what this album is telling the story of, is like how those three connect to each other.
I think it is very like every man, every woman.
Yeah.
It's very. We take something that is very day to day, but we have fun with it. We definitely amp it up. We turn everything to 100. However, whatever feeling you're feeling that day, or whatever feeling we want you to feel from that specific song, I feel like that is definitely, we just crank it up and we say, here's how we're feeling. We hope you feel the same way, and then we hope it comes across in the music.
Yeah.
All right. How did this whole thing get started though? Because it sounds like this is not just like this is more than just an album. Like this is like, as you said, a whole story. It fits together. So like, how did the whole thing start?
Wow.
It's a tough one because it's been it's been in the works for so long. So
Yeah.
it's picking a specific point of like here's where it started is hard because it's
Yeah.
a little bit of this song started here, and there's other specific pieces that have just been, because it's such a culmination, we've just been working on it for so long that it's
Yeah.
hard to pinpoint, like, do we go back to the beginning of the band, do we go back to each song? It's we're all kind of involved in the songwriting process, so when it all
Yeah.
comes together, that's, I don't know if that's the start, but it's definitely
Yeah.
getting there.
So
It's
I do think that like our EP, when we finished our EP and we were starting to get C Red going, we were deciding whether or not we wanted C Red to get on there. And then I think we all collectively were like, hold on, wait a minute, this might be good. And then from C Red, we just had one song after another sort of like pop up. And then it was very natural feeling too. Like it was just like, oh, this one's coming in. And then I think every song that was after that was almost like, in a way, somewhat of a sonic response to it. Like we were hearing something with that song, And then the next song would have maybe what that song didn't have, but some elements of the same, like a translation on, that kept going and kept going. And I don't know how the story.
We're talking about the story, but it's hard
to talk about the story. But I'm like, well, I guess it is a little like here, there, and everywhere, bits and pieces. But I don't know, like the way that the sounds fit together, I feel like tell exactly what Drew's saying. Like with this is everyday kind of stuff, and we are dialing it in a musical way.
I do think it's also just to touch on it super quick. Speaking of how it all started with C-Red, it seems that every time we'd be working on a specific song, we'd find something that maybe didn't work, and we would take that and run with it, and it became a completely different song.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the foundation is, trying stuff, maybe it didn't work, but you save it for later and you go, hey, I think this could be a cool, riff or a cool beat or something that becomes a completely different song.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. You like always want to keep like the notes, because you just like never know when this idea or a sound is going to come back and say, okay, now it works. Before it didn't, but now it does.
Yeah, we have recordings of everything too. So anytime something comes up and we're just starting a little jam, we go, we should record that. That's good. Yes. We'll use that later.
Yeah, you never know. So when you were making this album, did you get to try like a lot of new stuff, whether we're talking like lyrics or sounds?
Good question. I think
I'll let Ryan take the vocals, but I'll take over some of the background, the laying down the beats and stuff.
Yeah.
But, Ryan actually he takes lead on Long Weekend, and the end of that song has this really cool samba section that we would kind of bring in occasionally when I would have a drum solo. Ryan would start this little samba section and, just lay down a little bass. And we kind of, I mean, he came to me with it one day and he was like, hey, this, I really want to have this as like an ending. So that is something that, I feel like we've never really put into any of our music. So it is very experimental. It's very jammy. It's a lot of fun to play live. So that's something I'm really excited for people to hear, because it's very unlike us.
Totally. And I think to answer that question too, of like experimenting and getting crazier with new sounds and stuff, I don't know in terms, I can't for my lyrics in the songs that I put in for Long Weekend and Funkadelic Gas, they ended up being kind of the same story, which is like okay with me. Like I'm down to have that be my vibe in it. But it's I don't know. I do think that like they did, like Ellie and Liv and Henry, who also write the other lyrics of the other songs too, like they got deep in their bag too. Like they were, I've heard stuff from them that I've heard before. And then throughout the album, they started putting stuff that I hadn't. And I was like, oh, you guys are getting deeper into this. And I'm loving that. And then in terms of new sounds, I think C-Red definitely was like the basis of like what instrumentation we kind of wanted to have. And then from there, we went, either crazier or more like tuned in. Like Lazy Lover is like a straight rock track through and through. We didn't want to go super crazy with like what other sounds needed to be in there. We knew we wanted organ, we wanted electric guitar, we wanted clavy and bass. And we're like, that's what we're doing. We don't like, let's zone in on that. But then like what Drew is saying, like the Long Weekend, we have like a marimba in there. We have like a
bongos underneath.
Synth. Yeah, we got bongos, and so the range is crazy. And some songs, to answer that question officially, some songs we wanted to keep it more honed in, and some songs we just were like, just let's
send it
super weird,
throw everything at the wall, see what sticks.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that approach. Also, it makes you wonder what you're going to do for the next album.
Oh, big time.
Oh,
I know that there's
perhaps, a choir or something like that.
You always got to one up, right?
Yeah. Well, you always got to do better, right? You always want to like improve on the past. So
I think that's gonna happen too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
If we're on the topic of album 2, like the songs that are already starting to like sprout, this is gonna be crazy. Yeah,
It's gonna be fun.
yeah. Because I think we found our direction as soon as we knew this album was happening, and now like we got everything coming down. Now it's like, all right, this will be album 2, this will be album 2 volume 2, this will be album 3. You know, like we're starting to see it. We're starting to see the big time picture of it all.
Do you feel like musically there's like anything you wouldn't do, or is it just like, can like anyone say, okay, I think we should do like a bagpipe for this song or like a gong for this song? Is anything off limits?
I think if we can get people to play it, I think it will be played.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
my approach.
I don't know. I don't know about off limits. There's stuff that it's like, maybe we shouldn't do that. You know,
those are the things that we hold for the next album. We'll find a place for it, but maybe it won't work right now.
You never know. So with this being the debut album, was it hard to say, okay, we're done, no more tweaks, no more redos?
Well,
yes and no. I mean, the long short of it.
Yeah.
No more tweaks, no more redos in terms of like, do you mean like when we knew it was done?
Yeah, exactly.
I think so this is an interesting question for me because I tend to be, as a mixing engineer and audio engineer, a bit of a perfectionist. And so for me, like there could be no end in sight. And in my own music too, like there is oftentimes no end in sight because I'm just like, well, hold on, I'm hearing something new. I'm hearing, this got to change now. But I think having myself, like they gave me a deadline, Henry and like the band gave me you guys were like, this is when we should have it done by. And that helps me be like, all right, we got to get all our final tweaks, anything that I absolutely can't live with. And then like everyone's approval too. Everyone's approval. What can't we live with it? And if it sounds good, it feels good at the end of it, then we're there. And then we just have to hit that deadline. And I think we did that. And we've been working with Sean McLaughlin too. He mixes, he's mixed half of this album.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Sean's amazing. I mean,
he does
like
incredible
legend in the city. I mean, like legend in Boston, legend in New England. I mean,
so
seriously,
all what you hear in this album, I think, except for C-Red. C-Red is the only drum mix we didn't do with him, but he does all the production of our drums. Because I don't know if you can tell, this is my studio right here, which is it can fit a drum set, but it's not optimal for sure. So
no, it's not really the best.
But yeah, that's where we do all our drum recording. And just to take some of the load off of him, I took half and then he took the other half. And so yeah, it's the same thing. Like he works so quick. So he works a lot faster than I do. And he was just like, we'd record it, or we'd send him the mixes, and then within a week or two, we'd start seeing the first drafts come in, And so that was a huge help in sort of like progressing things and making sure that we were hitting a deadline eventually that we wanted to hit,
Mm-hmm. Was this your first time working with Sean?
This was my first time working with Sean. Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
All of ours. Yeah. He's fantastic.
Yeah. He is such a pleasure to work with. He's got stories. I asked him because I knew he worked with Rush and I was just such a big Rush fan. So I think the first time we went over there to record, we were sitting down, he was doing some mixing, and I was like, do you mind if I just pick your brain a little bit? And he's got stories for eons about everything in the industry. And it's so much fun to pick his brain.
Oh, I'll bet. All right. Now, along with the album, you also have a show coming up. This is on July 10th at the Burn in Somerville, one of my favorite places to go. I love the Burn. And you're playing out with Sound Advice at 7 p.m. What is a live Far Out show like?
Drew, go off.
It is so much fun. I mean, I can only talk, I'm actually the only one that has to be stationary. I'm in the back, I'm sitting down. I try to move as much as I can, but being behind a drum set, you only get so much. But let me tell you, I have as much fun as anybody in the audience because I also get to watch the whole band. I'm watching everybody switch instruments. I'm watching them dance. I'm watching them, hang out with each other, go back to back on little licks that they do with each other. Yeah. And it is, I just have half of playing it my enjoyment comes from watching everybody else just have fun on stage, because it makes it so easy just to hang out and just make music. And that's all we're doing on stage. We're just a bunch of goofballs hanging out. So I'm glad people enjoy that.
Yeah, Drew nailed it on the head with that. Like it's the goofball mentality that makes it, like, I think, disarming and fun. Like you'll see us starting to get like real silly with it, but also what you're hearing is like amped. We are amped on stage. Like every time we get up there, I do feel a crazy rush, and it adds to the music. And I think everyone is feeling that too. Everyone is feeling their own rush, and their little dance moves, like no matter what, like if we're bouncing, just like we try to move as much as I can, but I have an issue with that sometimes because I'm 6'2" and like a little clumsy.
I know the lower ceilings are quite a bit an issue for him. So,
and I'm holding the big bass too, so I'm like I'm swinging that thing. It can be a little messy sometimes, but man, it's a ton of fun, and I think the best times are when we see the crowd sort of get disarmed and just relax and enter the goofball mode with us.
Yeah,
we're
also not afraid to hop into the crowd occasionally. We've got some wireless mics, so we're we're definitely playing with them a lot. So
yeah, and really, like, the Bergen's perfect for that because it's like big enough that you can like move around too.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're right up against the stage, so even if we're not hopping off, they're right there with us.
Yeah, exactly. Now you mentioned switching instruments. I love that concept. How does that work for the band?
So we try to keep it song to song, you switch instruments, but Colin and Liv have now recently, like I think with Need a Win and Long Weekend, now have a requirement. And even C Red actually has this requirement for Liv. She's got to go from acoustic to flute. But there's a requirement sometimes that you got to do it in the middle of the song, which I think is epic. I love that. I think it's so fun.
Oh my God. In the middle of the song,
in the middle of the song, I've seen Liv do it and I've seen Colin do it. Ellie will do it because she'll go from trumpet to vocals in a second. And also, if she's got her violin, she'll do that too, which I think is really fun. But yeah, I'd say Drew, Henry, and I tend to switch the least because we are on like the solid rhythm instruments, and like we need to be, so like you got to have your drum and bass connection, you gotta,
of course.
So like that's a little harder to switch mid song, but
yeah, I would imagine getting up like from the drum is kind of like hard to do. Like
definitely. I think it could be fun. I think performance wise, I think that'd be a great time.
Yeah, you gotta try it out sometime. You like never know what's gonna happen.
If I could play something else, I'm sure I'd do it more often.
Drew, we just need you. Give me. I can do like me. I can hold a steady beat. I'm not gonna be any chops worthy of Drew Phillips here. But if we get Drew on the lead vocal, Liv or Ellie on the bass, and then Drew takes over on lead vocal, that'd be pretty nasty.
It'd be a good time.
I love it.
I love it. So cool. Well, folks, we are actually coming down to the end here. This is just like fluoride vibe and loving every moment of it. But of course, we're going to wrap things up with the big question: what's next for you?
So we have a tour coming up, which has been I got the picture of the tour poster, and I just been looking at it because I'm like very proud that we're doing this.
It's been like months and months in the works. I know Liv specifically has been putting in a ton of time finding venues and finding bands. We've put a lot of work into this upcoming tour. So
all right, let's see this thing.
Oh, that's gonna be mirror. That's mirror mode, but
that is.
But yeah, like we got Providence, Burlington, Tinton Falls, New Jersey, East Hampton, Massachusetts, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Boston, MA. We're putting miles on.
Okay. When are you going to be in East Hampton? I have to know this.
Got it.
Because that's where I live, guys. That's right where I am.
That is September 12th.
Okay. Where are you playing?
Marigold
Theater.
Love it. I love
Yeah.
the Marigold. It's one of my favorite venues. I am a literal 5-minute walk. So come hell or high water, I will do my utmost to be there, guys, because that's gonna
Awesome.
be an amazing
Dude,
time.
I'll buy you a drink. Let's get there.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
I'll buy you 2 drinks.
Ah, I like that. I like that.
I will supply the drinks to the drum and bass connection for the band.
Oh,
Let's go. Love
now
it.
we're talking.
Now
we're
everyone's
talking.
gonna be jealous they're not here right now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I want to be in the band. Like, oh. Well, folks, that brings this episode to a close. Of course, you've heard everything. Now, here's where you go to check it out. The Far Out Band, the Far Out Band is the place to go. Of course, find them on Spotify. July 11th. Greetings from the Far Out drops. Check it out. You are not going to miss it. And seriously, guys, if you live in the area of where the tour is happening, check this band out. It is not to be missed. Drew, Ryan, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate this one.
Max, thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much
us,
for
man.
having us.
It's
All
been
right.
a blast.
Okay. And for the folks at home, thank you once again for checking the show out, and we'll see you all next time.